Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life, on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
Hey, everybody. You know I'm excited because today it's an encore episode. It's a presentation of a beautiful interview with a handsome man. Marc Blucas talked with us and was just such a delight, such a sport, such a charmer. And please see social media for photographic evidence of us measuring our hands against one another. He's cool.
He really was like the most delightful human I have had the pleasure of hanging out with. He was just so kind and sweet and unassuming. And Jenny, I don't think we say this in the episode itself, but we were up in San Francisco and both had our sort of like plans to go back home. Your home at the time was Los Angeles. Mine was New York. And while we were in San Francisco doing a live event, we got an email that was like, actually, yeah, Marc can stop by and do an interview. And I was like, Jenny, am I changing my flight? And Jenny was like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, you fucking are.
Yeah, you fucking are. And so we flew from San Francisco to LA together to do this interview before I went back. And I would do it all again in a heartbeat for this absolutely beautiful butterscotch hunk.
What a sweet guy. What a great convo. My biggest regret, we didn't talk about the balls poster.
Well, you know, maybe there'll be a future for us. Maybe there'll be a future Marc interview down the line.
Yes.
Anything could happen.
Sir, we've got some unanswered questions.
Did you keep the original balls poster?
What's your favorite ball? Be honest. We'll know if you're lying.
Oh, all right. So without further ado, we'll go into Marc Blucas, although I lied because further ado is that you should know that next week we will be airing our interview with Juliet Landau. And then at the end of the month, we will be airing our interview with James Marsters. But Jenny, July is long. And so there is a Wednesday in betwixt those two. So if you have emails, thoughts, questions, concerns, you better get them to us because we are going to be recording a Watcher's Diary that'll go up on the 22nd.
We love hearing from you, especially when your email subject lines are something like Jenny was right or Kristin was wrong or is that pretty much covers it, I guess.
No, I'll
Those are the good
open
ones.
any email that says Kristin was wrong, I'll open because I assume it will begin. LOL, just kidding. All right. To the land of Blucas we shall go.
Merrily. Verily. Well, what a time to be alive on this blessed day when we are sharing a studio space at this very moment with none other than Marc Blucas.
Who again?
Mr. King, Your Majesty, Marc Blucas.
Stop it. You guys are amazing with talent. You do this to every single person here.
Mark, we didn't tell you this before we started recording, but Jenny we're in season 5. So you've been with us now in our buffering journey for a year.
Like a season and a half?
Yeah, season and a half for quite some time. And Jenny has been talking about her adoration for Riley for a long time. So our listeners are excited to have you talking to us, but they are also incredibly excited that the two of you are in the same room.
Well, it's like
together.
point counterpoint, because now I can be like a 2-man front against the army of what's in front of us.
It's usually a lonely battle, but here we are together.
Yes.
Welcome to the past 25 years of my life.
well, we don't have to be linear. We can start there, right? Like we just jump in to the fact that like you are aware that Riley is an incredibly controversial character.
Well, I was prepped by this. And, the day I got the job, I'll never, it's one, look, I feel like a lot of this interview may be a giant disappointment. One personally, because I'm an idiot, but 2, it's just like I'm not up to speed. Like I don't really do I've done 3 cons in my life. I haven't gone back and lived in the past and rewatched these episodes. I feel like you're gonna ask me questions. I'm like, did I say that? Did that happen? I have no idea what you're talking about. But that said, there are moments that obviously stand out, and I'll never forget. I think it was my first day on work, and Joss pulls me aside and he said, "Listen, do not go online." I'm like, why? And he's like, they are going to fucking hate you. Wow. He's like, I'm going to do what I can. We're going to position you the right way. But like, and I'll never forget, he said, for the first, and I forget the number, for the first, 7 episodes, I need you to be wallpaper. Just sit back and do nothing. I want you to sit in the background and just let the story unfold, give the audience time. And then I'm like, okay. Again, not kind of knowing. And like any good accident on the road, you have to like peek and like look at it. And so like, I think after the first one aired, I did. I'm like, a giant mistake. And, and I never did again. And I still don't. Like, I truly, like, obviously we're joking about like how people feel about Riley. And I went to, it was after I think 20 years I did my first con. And so it was like, okay, I feel like I may not get shit thrown at me right now. So maybe I can advance, because I hear that constantly, you know what I mean? And it could be in the cereal section of the grocery store. I don't know, but it is certainly something I know about. And so.
Well, and was Joss's positioning basically because it was like the post-Angel that like.
Well, of course. He's like, there's no, like, look, you'll hit a guy, we'll position it as best as we possibly can, that you're going to come in and save her and do all these things storytelling wise. And I hadn't watched the show beforehand. I didn't know. I just started watching it during the audition process. And so, I didn't know of the relationship, or 2, the fans, commitment to it. And so it's understandable when it's so Shakespearean and dramatic and big and intense, it's just like there's nothing you can do after that that's going to kind of stand up.
Well, because you've been a big part of our discussion and debate over the last, year and a half, Jenny, I keep saying like, Jenny's really defending you. Like,
Jenny's your only fan.
Throwing myself under the bus.
You're like, in fact, your grandmother signed up the Team Angel. Like, this is your grandma, right? I'm like, motherfucker.
Well, Jenny just had a conversation with a writer named Emily Nussbaum, who is like a Pulitzer Prize winner, television critic, who is also like a massive Riley defender. And
so you have one Pulitzer winner.
She's going to make the Christmas list too. I'm going to need your address after this.
Well, maybe Jenny, you should talk a little bit about some of your defense of Riley, because I would love to hear your thoughts too about Riley's relationship to Buffy and things like that.
I'll do my best.
Well, I came into like season 4 and talking about Riley for the first time from the perspective of like, Buffy has 3 main loves over the course of the show. And one of them is like a 243-year-old vampire, and one of them is like a 140-year-old vampire. And both
I still
of them
don't win.
And
what
somehow
the fuck?
It's like,
but anyway, all right, go
it's
ahead.
you.
On paper, this sucks. Like you're right now you don't sound like a pro Riley person, but go ahead.
Okay, so my stance is Riley, like Spike and like Angel, like I think they all have their flaws and their virtues as individual characters and also as like Buffy love interests. But
for some reason, because Riley was sandwiched in between two like supernatural, more, I think, tortured. Like, I feel like there's just like, it was just like really
edgy,
fertile ground for
mysterious, sexy.
Right. Dramatic,
yes.
super
Right.
dramatic. And
Very
I feel like
dramatic.
out of the three of them, Riley is across the board, like objectively, the best boyfriend. He's like constantly asking questions, metabolizing new information, doing like everything that he can to support Buffy as she's like continuing to like grow, as he's suffering, I'm sure, the effects of PTSD after like, you know, finding out that everything he's been believing in and fighting for is a lie, being betrayed by the person that he like trust, you know, one of the people that he trusted the most, Professor Walsh. He like has so much to overcome in the short span of time that we spend with him, and he does so mostly with like such like grace and like compassion, and he just gets shit on by everybody even still.
There's you know, cliches about the nice guy not winning, I think, and you know, laughably, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Like, moms and grandmas love me, you know, like, but it's just like, you know, but there is a period of your life, namely high school, college, everything else, where, let's face it, like, you can be attracted to the dark side. It's been a running joke in my marriage now for the 10 years I've been married. I'm like, honey, I am dark and mysterious. And she's like, oh my God, stop. And you kind of know it, but it's just, you know, it's the same thing. Like, you know, you look and you say, okay, well, Tobey Maguire's not going to be cast as Maverick in Top Gun. Like, actors carry certain things. And frankly, it's why I got the job. I didn't know what I was doing. It was a job before I was ready. And I'm not backpedaling. I'm not looking for like, you were amazing. I was not a good actor. I just got done playing professional basketball. I had a scholarship to law school. I was a business major in college. I had started a company. This was an accident. And
Whoa.
I got a job before I was ready. And it's an amazing audition story because, you know, it's the classic thing. I go in, I get this pre-read, like I barely have representation, whatever. I go in for the first thing, and you know, Joss's always line was that I always remember hearing is like, you don't follow a banjo act with a banjo. So after David, I'm sure it was like, hey, let's get bright and sunny. Well, look, I'm a happy guy. I'm a positive thinking person. It's just like, and so, you know, I go in and I audition for the casting director, and that goes fine. And I get a call back, and then I go in with some producers. Then I get called back again and go in with Joss. And then this is all taking a month. And so at this point, I start watching the first couple of seasons, and I'm like, you know, I'm rolling my eyes because I'm like, okay, Buffy, like, you know, the title and all this other stuff. Then you start watching, and I'm like looking over my shoulder. I'm like, this shit's good. Anybody seeing me enjoy this? And it's like, and so during the process of auditioning, it becomes like the guilty pleasure, and which obviously feeds like, wow, I really want it. And again, on paper, it's like, as an actor, to jump onto a show that's already a hit and it's already established and has a fan base, like, that's a great gig. You know, you're not waiting on, does a pilot get picked up? You're not, you know. And so so that was, I guess, three rounds. And then they brought two of us in to test with Sarah, to do a chemistry read with Sarah. The night before I'm playing basketball, I get undercut. I throw out my back. It's never happened in my life. I have no idea. I can't walk. I can't put on socks. And I go into this audition in like Adidas slides, shorts, and a t-shirt. And this is all like, at the end of the day, it's like, yes, it's a chemistry read, but I think it's also like, who's starstruck, who's not, who can be around Sarah. I mean, half the people I played in basketball in college are professional athletes and like superstars, and I could give a flying fuck who is who, and the act, it doesn't matter to me at all. I literally, like, I put my feet on the floor, I put my back against the wall, I do the scene, I'm horrible, and I literally say, I'm so sorry for wasting everybody's time, good luck with the show, I've become a fan in the process, see you later. And I walked out. It was like, there was no version of me getting that job. I was terrible. And like, it was all like, who can get close to her? What's the, you know, that's the tone of the show. Like, you know, that dramatic love thing. There was none of that going on.
Wow.
And in true, like, amazing story, doesn't happen in Hollywood fashion, my phone rings and it's Joss. And he said, I know you're the guy because I've seen you do it. What's going on? When's this going to be better? Mike's never happened for, I don't know, 2 weeks. I don't know. He's all right. Sarah's going on vacation for 2 weeks. And when you're better, you call me and we're going to do it again. and he gave me a second chance.
Wow.
And
So
that
you did the
doesn't-
audition again.
That doesn't happen in this town very often. I'll always be grateful for that, you know,
Wow.
like, and so, you know, this is a one and done town. You get your shot and you fuck it up, you're not going back.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I went back in and I went great and I got the job. And so that was kind of how the getting the job thing happened, you know?
We hear so many stories. We've talked to several at this point of the cast members,
Mm-hmm.
and so many people talk about how the energy on set was so wonderful, and that a lot of it was like top down, like hearing the story about Joss being like, you know what, actually, like let's bring you back. Checks with all the other things that we've heard from so many people. So I wonder what your experience was like, just generally on set.
Well, again, it was like I think what he saw in me was just like a raw talent and the energy that he wanted to have for Riley. And I was not trained, informed. Granted, I moved out here and I was taking classes immediately, and I tried to immerse myself like I did as an athlete. But you just didn't kind of know what you were going to get. And they were so patient with me. Like at that point, I had no control of the craft. So it was like 1 out of 4, I'm going to give you what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one of those people that I loved being a freshman and sucking at something because I like to get better, and it doesn't bother me. I don't have a confidence problem in my life. It's just like, I feel like I got no problem failing. And learning on the go, and Sarah and Joss especially, because that's who I had obviously the bulk of my material with, were so patient. And I think that's what was the beauty of how he cast the show. I think all of those people were so similar to the role, and, you know, in these big ensembles, you're putting personalities together, and like the running thing on TV, especially back then. Now things have changed a little bit with how cable and streaming and how that's changed the world a little bit. But back then it's like you kind of cast a personality and you put those pieces together, and they just did that so perfectly. And they were, it's like, look, it's a bunch of kids with money. And I'm coming on to a hit show already, and that could have easily gone another direction. And, but Tony and Nick, I mean, everyone was amazing to me. And it was, we had a great time. And even though I could see Sarah's frustrations and me not being able, I get it. Like, I totally get it. I wasn't good yet. And not that I got fucking trophies on my mantle now, but I at least have control.
Yeah.
And so it's, you know, it was this push and pull because I wanted to be as good, as bad as she wanted me to be good. and you know what I mean? And it's made me have so much compassion when I see a green actor on set now, because I remember those sweats and, you know, those feelings of, it's just like, okay. And it's like, you know, all my mistakes are on camera, and that was my film school right there, you know?
Yeah. I'm just curious. You said you were playing basketball. You were just out of business school, or you were going to business
No,
school?
I had a scholarship to law school.
To law school. So then how did this, like...
it was really an accident. Like, it was just one of these things that, you know, I tried to be a part, my senior year, I tried to be a part of like our university, one of the plays at school, just have a couple of lines, but it's like, we're off to play Duke or Carolina. And then I couldn't even do it one time. Like, it was just one of those things where I thought maybe it'll always be that hobby to replace basketball, like something else they'll do. But it's like, look, I'm from this little town in blue collar Pennsylvania that I always say, it's like, it's that town right in between Deer Hunter and all the right moves. Like, you know, it's truthfully like that, that says it all right there. It's like, so if you say back then you want to be an actor, people are going to throw shit at you. Like, I was on that imaginary path you're supposed to be on back then. You'd be a doctor, a lawyer, or a dentist. Like, that's a giant success. You go, you use your sport to get out of town. I had a full scholarship, athletic scholarship. I went to an amazing school in Wake Forest, and then had a academic scholarships to go on to law school. And I had an opportunity to play professionally overseas, which I did, and say, hey, I got paid to play the game and see the world. And it was incredible. And I came back and I was getting ready to start law school. And at the time, I felt like there was a gap in, you know, most athletes in college, you want to find a way to stay close to the game. So it's like, okay, what's next? You're going to be a coach, you're going to be a commentator, you're going to try to be an agent, whatever. And so I was broadcasting some games for ESPN. My best friend was going to be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. And at the time, I felt like there wasn't a model out there representing athletes that could manage their money, do their endorsements, and at the same time do their NBA deals. And so at the time, the 2 most marketed athletes in the world were Michael Jordan and Dale Earnhardt. And I don't remember how I got a meeting with Dale Earnhardt, the senior. He's since had an accident and passed on the track. But he was, you know, something, he was like making like $3 million a year on the track and 55 off of it. Like it was
Wow.
incredible.
Wow.
And I went down there and I pitched him the idea. I was like, look, why are you just representing yourself? You have a relationship with every corporation in America. NASCAR was blowing up at the time. And so we started this agency business where I'd meet him at, like, he sent his plane, we meet at racetracks. And, you know, we register with the NBA, the NFL. My best friend's going to be the number one pick in the NBA draft. Like, it was all kind of right here. And then I get a call from one of our sports information people at Wake Forest saying, hey, they're shooting a movie in Charlotte where they need a white kid that can shoot. You know, I led the ACC in 3-point shooting. Like, I'm like, all right, I'll go down and audition for a movie. I can tell my see my kids one day and say, hey, your old man was in a movie once, and show them, pull out some bad fucking VCR tape from 1996. And then the cliche happened. I went down and I caught the bug. And I was an extra. I had a line, like whatever. And I did it for 6 weeks before law school was getting ready to start. And I had enough encouragement. People was like, you should pursue this. You should kind of do it. And I ended up, like, right when it wrapped, I was like, come to New York. And I went to New York, and in 12 hours, I had a commitment to be an agent. Like, it was just like this crazy accelerated thing that it's kind of like, it's like that ignorance is bliss thing. I wasn't fully, not fully, I was zero training as an actor, like none. And I was good in a room, and I was nice, and I try hard, and you know, and I think people saw flashes of potential talent. And then the casting director who did that movie in North Carolina found out, and he said a line to me, I'll never forget. He got my, you know, this is pre-cell phone, right at, you know, or like it was the you know, the suitcase kind, and he called me at my home in Pennsylvania, at my parents' house, and he said, hey, I knew you had the look. I didn't know you had the brains and chops to go with it. I said, I'm from Pennsylvania. Chops or lamb, report to me. And he said, I want to fly you to LA. And so I flew out here, and he's like, I want to work with you. I want to send you a couple auditions. We'll see what happens. And my very first audition, I still have this script, was for Jerry Maguire, for the football player that Jerry O'Connell played.
Wow.
But I got close. I got up the process and the right amount of feedback. He's like, the hell with New York, move out here. And my parents the whole time were like, what the fuck? Where's this coming from? What's happening? I'm like, hey, law schools aren't going to disappear. And you know, and so that's kind of the long-winded story. So I moved out here, and I got right off the bus. And again, I used basketball to help kind of get me the next thing. And the very first thing I got was Pleasantville, which was honestly going to be the experience that either made it happen for me, or I was going to move back east. And to be around like Reese Witherspoon and Joan Allen and Tobey Maguire and Jeff Daniels and these people, and Gary Ross, the people that take it very seriously but have fun while they're doing it, because that's kind of my model of life. It's like, look, I'll work my ass off. You're not going to outwork me, but I'm going to have a good time doing it. And if you're not that, then I'm not interested. Like, it's not a thing. And so, you know, you grow up where we grow up, and if you have no like cousin or uncle in the business named Coppola and whatever it is, suddenly it's just like, you know, LA is just gangs, drugs, sunglasses, and red carpets. Like that's really all it is. And you don't know the ins and outs of how it really works. And so I had an amazing first experience, and that kind of cemented it. And so to call your parents and say, I'm walking away from ESPN, The Business with Dale Earnhardt, and law school, and I'm going to move out here to be an actor. They literally, it just got boiled down to like, good luck, have fun, don't ask for money. And maybe that's what it was. And then shortly thereafter, Buffy happens. And, I mean, I'm in class like 4 nights a week. Again, I'm like now, like it's a full court press of like, hey, get good at this thing, you know? And I was that guy. I would pull like the acting coaches aside after a month. I'm like, listen, I'm not paying you to stroke me and say, hey, you're amazing. I'm paying you to say, do you see a possibility? Whatever the it factor is, whatever it is, like, if you don't see it, I'm moving the fuck home. I got another life. I have other things that I can do. And so I need you to, like, bare bones, I need you to be dead fucking honest with me if this is like a uphill battle. And you know, I know I'm an easy paycheck, but that's not what this is about for me. And if you're not being honest with me, I'm fucking out of here.
Do you recall like the main set of the initiative, the government organization?
Like the one underground, like the drop down, an enormous pit full of tinfoil.
I often wonder when I look at that set now in this modern era, how it felt at the time, because there are like, I feel like a lot of things on the show, like some CGI and some practical effects that like age really well and some that don't. And that the initiative set always like struck me as like, whoa, they just like made a hole and filled it with tinfoil. But I'm wondering if like being on the set, being in that space, like did it feel like massive and impressive, or did it feel like...
always. Like it, you know, I always kind of use the example, like have a very blue collar, like meat and potatoes kind of dad. And like suddenly his like academic all-American son is a thespian wearing makeup for a living. And I'm like, oh man. And the first time he came out, like I really think we thought it was like 8 or 10 people with some flashlights and a camera. And like, then you don't know the scope and the scale of it. And it's just like, and I remember having that feeling myself when I saw that set. I'm like, holy hell. Like, again, it's just so impressive. And again, they had such an amazing creative team from the makeup and hair department, to wardrobe. Like, everybody was like at the top of their games for those things. And so, yeah, you walk in there, and it's funny because in this day and age of blue screen and all, all these other things, like, it's so challenging for an actor sometimes. Like, you have 10 feet of set and then a box of blue around you. And you don't get a sense of the world and those feelings. And it's like you hear all those actor cliches and how much the wardrobe and the makeup and the space helps inform a situation and a character. And it's so true. Like, you getting all, we got down and we're doing all that stuff. And it was pretty impressive,
Yeah. Coming to the show, like, as an athlete, right? It seems like a lot of the guys on the show are relatively involved in like stunt work and gags and stuff. Is that something that like you were excited about, something that you like really wanted to get into?
It was. And again, based on some of the things I've already said, it was where I was most comfortable on the show. And so I, don't ask some of the stunt team because I decked a few people on my time there. The first big fight scene was Sarah Stunto. Sophia.
Yeah,
Sophia.
Crawford.
Yeah. So sweet. And this like giant, like we have this like, I don't know, you guys remember better than I, but like, I just remember like there's this like whole hallway and it's all like smoke and fog and we have night vision goggles which are not real night vision goggles. They are props that you cannot see shit out of.
No.
And they got all this fog and here comes the stunt, and we have this little fight scene. She jacks me up against the wall and I just remember I'm supposed to like give her an uppercut. Well, I do. Well, one of these things, like I have no spatial awareness of where these things are. And I'm not a fighter. I've never been in a fist fight in my life. But so it's not like, well, you're a boxer. You're used to hitting people. I'm like, well, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'll just remember like doing an uppercut. And my fist missed her, but my elbow hit her right in the fucking forehead.
Oh, no.
And I felt so bad. And then she's like, no, I'm good. And then my ego got in the way. I'm like, what do you mean you're good? I just fucking hit you. But it was like, I just remember that was one of the that was the single only place where I felt like I could contribute creatively and actually, like, look, Joss, like, it was a word perfect show. Like, he made every decision went through Joss. Like, let's face it. And early on, I think we joked about this before we started, but it was like early on, I'm hanging the sign and the joke,
the lesbian
sign. And so, and I'm up on a ladder and, she's like, you got something to tell me. And it's just one of these few lines I truly remember on the show. And I'm like, yes, I am a lesbian. And they're like, Mark, cut. Mark, come here. They're like, I am a lesbian. I'm like, oh.
Wow.
Yeah. And
no contractions.
That was the level of word perfect on the show. Wow. Contractions too.
Wow.
And yeah, exactly. And so for like a untrained actor, it was an amazing experience in training because I was like, wow, I got to learn this shit like spot on. But for the stunts, because I wasn't in theater school. I was that. So it's like my joke was like, look, compared to professional athletes, I'm a slug. Compared to actors, I'm a phenomenal fucking athlete. and so like, I was like, hey, what about in the fight scene? Like, boom. It's like, there was one where I think that like, I hit and like, there's a stake that drops. I'm like, look, as it drops, what if I just grab it? They're like, can you catch it? I'm like, yeah, I can catch it. Just fucking pan the camera down. And like that stuff, I had so much comfortability and confidence in that I could contribute to the choreography, or it's like, hey, I can do this, or like, you want me to dunk it? You want me to do like whatever it kind of is. And so, so that was an extremely enjoyable part of the show for me.
To your ego, I had the chance to sit down with Sophia Crawford.
Oh, you did?
And she's a fucking badass. So
she's a total badass.
It does not surprise me. I think she could get clocked by anyone and keep going.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's good. I guess that's good to hear. I just retold the story for the first time in 20 years, and I have to say, I still stung a little bit.
Oh gosh. So we've talked a lot about basketball because that is very clearly a huge root for you, a huge part of your history and probably still your life.
Love it.
So was Riley a character who was going to be a basketball player, or did they bring that into the
I don't think so.
that's
the beauty of television. I mean, it's just like, in this long form that we have, these storytellers have 10 or 20 hours to tell their story instead of just 2. Like, that is one of the primary advantages of a network show, where you can get to know your actors and you'd be like, wow, Nick has great comic timing. Let's keep playing up his comedy. Or, hey, well, fucking Blucas is a basketball player. Let's write in stuff to do it, because they start to know that special skills section of your resume and can write to it. It's like, oh, that person juggles. Fucking write a juggling scene.
Right.
So it can roll with what the writers and creators are learning as they go about the people.
Sure. And you said something about like 7 episodes, like Joss being like, just stay, like just chill in the background for like 7 episodes or whatever. Did you know that Riley was going to be a full season character, like a full arc at the start?
I'm trying to remember because, Joss is so close to the vest. And this was before the day of us all signing non-disclosures and posting things on the internet. But it was still kind of a like, he told me what I needed to know, kind of a need-to-know basis. Like, I do remember there was one line that was like, I just didn't understand. I have no idea what it is. I'm like, hey, Josh. And I just remember asking him, I was like, Josh, what does this mean? Like, this is weird. Can we change this? He goes, you know what? It's just a setup for like 2 seasons later. Which one, he's brilliant enough that could be true, or I was dumb enough. It could have been just like, shut the fuck up and say what I wrote. So I don't know. I don't know what the truth is on that, but he was such an amazing setup payoff writer that it could have been a truthful answer that it was a 2 season later kind of setup.
I mean, there are a lot of things that truly are, and it's remarkable.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the character of Forrest. There's a lot of conversation, especially in our discussion of season 4 and the initiative of the relationship between Forrest and Riley, and the fact that a lot of people feel like Forrest has more than just friendship feelings towards Riley.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
That's a conversation?
Often shipped.
Very shipped. And
there's
my ego's recovering from the whole Sophie fight the stunt fight scene thing. Okay, really? He was into me?
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a lot of like speculation because Forrest is so kind of like protective / seemingly like a little possessive of Riley when it comes to like Buffy taking up more and more of his time, and it's sort of like a Slayer versus Initiative thing, like a military family versus outsiders
and his call sign
thing.
was like Lilac One or something. Now you're saying that, and I'm trying to think like, it was Lilac One.
I know.
Or was that me?
Was it written in, or was it just something that happened on set? But it sounds like from your reaction that wasn't even something on your radar.
No, and again, I was not privy to any kind of like, here's our theme for the show, and here is where these characters in relationship where we wanted to go. It's just not shared that way. Right. I never felt that. Look, like Leonard, Bailey, Chase, and I we were 3 25 or whatever year olds in Hollywood on a hit show, like shooting guns, beating people up. Like it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And those guys were both dreaming of acting, I think, for a long time. And so I was able to, again, I was surrounded by really good actors, and so it was an opportunity to learn in that regard, but it was also comforting too, because here was a lot of guys in Bailey. Bailey was an athlete, and so we had that kind of commonality as well. But it's funny you say that, because I've never heard it, I've never thought it, I've never heard it, I've never thought it, but I'm running with that motherfucker. Let me tell you, that fucking dude was into me.
Speaking of chemistry, definitely we want to hear about your time with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh, yeah. Of like a good solid foot of height difference.
Yeah.
Were there, like on the X-Files, Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny, pretty disparate heights, and they used something that they started just calling a Scully box, I think, on set, which was just like a little like apple crate or something that she would stand on when they were doing close-ups, because otherwise she would...
Same. It's too small. Look, I probably haven't seen any work I've done in the past 12 or 15 years. And I probably have PTSD from Buffy, because I'd watch it and think I was fucking horrible. And I would just, I'm too critical of myself. And I was like, this is a mistake. But I do remember thinking, like, when they would like turn around behind Sarah to do my coverage and just see her head and me like slouching and looking down, it looked like I was telling my daughter to look both ways before we cross the street, because it was like, oh my God, I'm massive next to this girl. It's like, it's been funny. I've lied about my height my entire life. As a basketball player, I was always a couple inches taller. Now as an actor, I'm a few inches shorter. But yeah, they had she was obviously always on an apple box. And when you go to these wide walk-in talks, you see the huge gap difference.
Yeah,
But, we would have these walk-in talks through the cemetery or whatever we are outdoors. And so the crew would have to build this run of apple boxes.
Oh my God, are you serious?
It had to be 30 feet long so they could get us both in the frame. Well, then at the end of that, it's funny. It's hard to do this in a podcast and not see it visually. But, at the end of the walk-in talk, we have to exit camera. Well, Sarah can't step off of it. You're going to see her head go down. So I got to do this weird Charlie Chaplin. I got to step over the apple boxes without my head going up and to exit off of camera to walk over it. So we'd be like, hey, we do this walk and talk. Be like, all right, guys, it's going to be about 20 minutes. We got to make the apple box run. And then Sarah had, she only had like a 12 or 14 inch wide area to stay on this whole walk and talk. So her challenge was bigger than mine until the end. And I had to cross over to not look like I was stepping up over some giant rock.
Oh my God. We're going to have to go find one of those now.
Yeah, you'll kind of see. And,
Yes.
And then, on the sex scenes side of that story, to this day, I keep saying, guys, this shoulder's blocking a lot of light. And it's just like, I'll be like, all right, Mark, you're on top of Sarah. And I'm like, Sarah, you okay? And I'm so hypersensitive. I'm like, look, I'm a giant guy. It's like, are you okay? Like, yeah, like, they're like, all right, move over, Mark, your shoulder. I'm like, okay, but, and like, oh, bad, no, get the knee out of there. And it's like, okay, here. And then you're in the most uncomfortable position. You look over and it's like Alan, Paul, like the camera department, like, my buddies that I'm kind of in touch with still. And, and you hear the boom, Kevin, and like all these guys, and I'm like looking, like they're like, all right, and love her. I'm like, I can't. I'm really uncomfortable. My shoulder I don't do yoga, and I'm looking at my buddies here at the camera department, like smirking at me, and it's like it just never fails. You're like, you got 12 people within 7 feet of you, and I'm crushing this little girl underneath me, and we're supposed to be like lost in each other's eyes,
Yeah, I mean, we imagined that there would be some difficulty with everything, but certainly with even kissing, even before the sex scenes, just like the kissing alone, it's like the difference is...
I learned how to slouch on that show.
Yeah.
My chiropractor didn't like that show. Yeah.
So there's a scene in, I think it's Where the Wild Things Are. Is that the name of the episode?
Where the Wild Things Are, which you may faintly recall as the episode where you and Buffy are in you just stay in your room and have sex for the entire episode. There's a sexual haunting.
Yeah, I know there's one we don't talk. I know we fuck all the time in one. Like if you just like some of these will
yes,
spark.
Those are the two on our list.
Some of these will spark a memory. Yeah.
But there's a scene in that where part of the sex scene is you slowly taking off one of Sarah Michelle Gellar's boots, or Riley taking off one of Buffy's boots. Mm-hmm. And so we just wondered if you had any recollection of that.
It is just such an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Well, I guarantee you it wasn't mine.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait for Josh.
I'm not a foot fetish guy, but B, that was all scripted. There was no improvising anything there. And so I guess if you're writing a episode of television where people have sex 6 times, you're like, by 4, you got to start coming up with some different shit. And it obviously worked because you guys 20 years later, you're asking me a question about it.
Oh,
right?
yes, totally.
Right. Okay.
Oh, so you mentioned the episode where you don't talk, which is Hush.
Yeah.
And that is an episode on our list to ask you about because we imagined that for everyone involved in the production of that episode, it was a very different experience. So do you have any memories from that?
That was one of the few times that I was able to step outside of that show and say, this is an honor to be a part of, because, look, 20 years later, like my memory, people say, hey, what was it like on Buffy? And I would say, look, it was amazing. And every actor wants to be a part of a cult iconic show. If you have one in your career that it's a show that stands the test of time, you want to be a part of those things. But the reality is I wish I was mature enough and a good enough actor at the time that I could recognize the material in the moment for being as good as it was and the opportunity what it was. I was too green. I was too distracted. There was too many other things in play that I couldn't recognize it. But for Hush, it was like, I read this, I was like, holy shit, this is going to be one of those amazing things to be a part of. And and we had a ball doing it. It's like, it's like not cracking a joke or laughing at church or a funeral or something. It's funnier because you're not allowed to talk and make noise. And so it was a fun shoot to do, even though we were all trying to figure out the best way to communicate when you kind of couldn't. And there's scripted, like that was one of those moments. I do remember a specific scene where she's like, you're going to stake him. And she gives the jerk off maneuver and we're all cracking up. You know what I mean? And so, that was one of those ones, like even then I could say, this is like, wow, like this is amazing. one, they're allowing this guy to do this and write this kind of episode, but it was just, it shows you how much they trusted him and how amazing he was and how big of a hit the show was that they could take those kind of chances, you know?
Yeah. Kristin here. I want to talk to you about Jones Road Beauty. You may have heard me talk about this wonderful company before and how much I love using their Miracle Balm in particular. I also use their moisturizer, and as of late, I have also started to use their foundation stick. What is really exciting to me is that I have also seen recently pictures of some of you, our listeners, who have also started using the Miracle Balm in particular. And that's so exciting that you are loving it as much as I am. It's fast. It's easy, and it's also really good for your skin, which to me is the most important part. Every formula is packed with skin-loving ingredients. It's nourishing instead of clogging or caking, and it looks and feels natural, like you're not wearing makeup at all, which, as you know, is key for me. Modern day makeup that is clean, strategic, and multifunctional for effortless routines. For a limited time, our listeners are getting a free gift on their first purchase when they use code BUFFERING at checkout. Just head to jonesroadbeauty.com and use code BUFFERING at checkout. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you.
Starting or growing your own business can be intimidating and lonely at times. Your to-do list may feel endless with new tasks, and lists can easily begin to overrun your life. So finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything as a built-in business partner can be a game changer. For millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. From household names like Gymshark, Rare Beauty, and Heinz, to brands just getting started. Shopify has hundreds of ready-to-use templates that can help you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand's style. And you can tackle all the important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. No need to save multiple websites or try to figure out what platform is hosting the tool that you need. And if people haven't heard about your brand, you can get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you, with easy-to-run email and social media campaigns to reach customers wherever they're scrolling or strolling. Start your business today with the industry's best business partner, Shopify, and start hearing. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. That's shopify.com/realm.
This summer, Prime Video takes you back before Legally Blonde, before law school, and into the world of Elle Woods in high school. Set in 1995, this Gemini vegetarian knows exactly who she is until her family moves from Bel Air to Seattle. Packed with iconic fashion, 90s nostalgia, and a throwback soundtrack, Elle proves one thing. Law school was hard. High school was harder. From the world of Legally Blonde, watch Elle, a new original series only on Prime Video. Watch now.
We have gotten so many emails from people who listen to our podcast who have been fans of the show for a long time. And they send us, you have been the subject of more emails from fans who have met you, have run into you on the street, on the set, or whatever. And every story is more remarkable than the next of how kind and wonderful you are to all these fans. Notably, and this is, I think, related to Hush, but somebody just wrote into us that she was your first set visitor ever. I think she was 12 or something at the time. And you invited her to set and like read lines with her and, you know, had like a signed poster for her. And it just seems like your general presence as a human on this earth is very impactful to a lot of people who have run into you. And so, I don't know, we just wanted to talk about that.
Cry. What are you talking about?
But it's really remarkable. And I don't know, we would love to hear about like some of your experiences with the fans and also just how are you so nice?
Seriously, like you fucked me up just now. Listen, I don't care what people think of me as an actor. I care what people think of me as a human being. And it's somewhat disappointing and somewhat laughable that we're not having the opposite conversation. Is like, why aren't you nice? Like, it's almost embarrassing that you're having to ask, that it gets called out. And I truly just don't understand that. We control one thing in our life, and that's our character, and that's it. We control nothing else. And I just don't understand. And it's, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I hear it more than I should. Fuck, I'm a nice guy. I'm not that nice, but okay, I'm a nice guy. that's great to hear, and I thank you for sharing the story with me and communicating that's the case, and that's really what matters the most. And I every time I hear it, I'm just so surprised by, because the stories, they're not that amazing. Like, so I read a few fucking sentences with a kid. Like, that's not an amazing thing. I didn't go out and like make a point of like doing some, great huge movement and where I'm changing the world or I'm changing anything. It's just like I it's just really surprising to me that everyday kindnesses are as simple as asking about another person. Guys, that's human decency. That has nothing to do with anything else. And I guess the other part of that is I don't take myself seriously, and I could give a fuck. I don't look at myself as a celebrity. I don't play that game. I don't do social media. I don't pay attention to anything. I'm not into self-promotion. I don't deal with mirrors. I don't like I really don't care about any of this. Other than I love what I do and I want to be good at it. Like that I care about, but all this other stuff, like, and I shelter my kids from it. They haven't seen me on TV. If I see someone coming at me at the grocery store, I'm like, hey, hey guys, go pick out some cereal. I don't want them to see it. People treating me differently that I've done nothing to deserve in their eyes to see, like, hey, why do they treat my dad differently? Why do they want pictures with him? Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I don't want my kids exposed to that.
Yeah.
They have a lot of time to figure that out later. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. We're just like right now. It's like, I don't mean to be on a high horse, but we're so obsessed with fame, and it's just like, I don't know. I just don't subscribe to. I live on a farm in Pennsylvania. I don't want to be in it. I want to be around it. I'm a homebody. Like, I come in, I do my work. I'm a kind human being, and I help people out. And I think that's what everybody should do. And when it gets called out for what we do, and I'm like, what?
Right. It shouldn't.
Why are we having why are we having a pedestal? Why are we having a difference in like some hall pass for artists being assholes? And I just don't get it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, but it also, I don't know, to your point of like, well, I'm not doing this like big giant thing. I think sometimes small acts of kindness are.
Well, no, they're the best kind.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a firm believer in a grassroots approach to change. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to impact a few youthful minds and let that start to perk and grow and accumulate from that, as opposed to like just hitting a home run. Sometimes it's working your way up. It's to quote unquote starting small. Totally. To do it. And if those things do it, like I've had those influences and impactful moments in my life, and that's why I truly I'm not. It wasn't false. Like, I truly got choked up by you saying that and repeating it, because that's really all that matters to me. And to hear that is great and means a lot. But I have had that happen where someone will grab me and it's like, hey, I just wanted you to know, and like shared a compliment or me, something I would have never known, like a story I would have never known behind my back. And so it's like, you just make a point of doing that for people, and it would just kind of be a better place, I think.
Yeah.
We just subscribe to some simple little things like that.
Yeah. We're both with you on that.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, well, thanks for saying it.
Yeah. I want to say something that maybe you don't. I can tell by the way that you're talking, and you're like, well, am I acting this, am I acting that? But you're not saying it for any reason except for this is just like your perception. But a lot of the conversations around Riley it's not about the performance, it's about the character.
Oh no, I'm sure it's on both sides. I'm just speaking my truth, which was like, I was so green and didn't know what I was doing. Like, I'm just saying that, like, I'm sure the fan, much of the conversation is just like positioning and story and love affair and who's where I I get it. I'm not, it's not insecure. It's not coming from a place of like I'm backpedaling or apologizing for it. It was the time of my life. It's kind of what it was. And I don't know all these conversations other than what I've had a few people tell me. I don't get online. I took his advice.
Yeah,
I didn't do it. And I'm not one to live in the past. I mean, if I was going to go back and look at anything, it'd be like old high school basketball tapes where I was like, man, and certainly not episodes where I hit a stunt double and she didn't even get hurt.
Do you think that there's any like connection between people's struggle to sort of accept like the nice boyfriend in the case of Riley with some of what we've been talking about? Because somebody wrote into us, because you come back in season 6 for an episode, and you're married, and you've gotten married to a character named Sam, and somebody wrote into us to ask, basically, like, do you think that your pairing with Sam was better than with Buffy? Like, do you think that you and Buffy, I say you, do you think that Riley and Buffy had a good relationship?
I do. I think they obviously had some baggage and obstacles that kind of got in the way. But look, I always make the analogy, like, if feelings were a light switch, this shit would be really easy. And it's just not. And who looks right on paper? It's just like, look, my first love in my life, and she dumped me. Her name's Alyssa General. She lives in Pittsburgh. And we're still really good friends. And so it's fine. We're both married with kids. It's fine. But it was just like, on paper, we were supposed to be. And I was like, what you think. But it's just like, if you're being truthful to yourself, it's like, look, what are our decision makers for us? Our head, our heart, and our gut. You check in with all three and see where you're at. And if one's not working, it's not the right thing, even though you're like, fuck, this is supposed to be the right thing. And on paper, you're the right person. And I think it was opposite. If I'm going to sit and analyze it, which I've never done, you're asking me. It's just like, if I sit and analyze it and I'm thinking about it, it's like, I think Buffy probably knew on paper I was who you're supposed to be with.
Right.
And I think the opposite is true for Riley. Here's someone who like emotionally fucked him up and he's never had that before. And it's just like, oh my God, like this is a crazy feeling and it's an intense, and that didn't work because they were coming from it from two different places that way. And so that's probably my
that's very
very quick takeaway from it.
But I mean, it's what we have been talking about for some time when we talk about this, of like, where were they coming from and where is the mist?
They're like, God, that was really good.
I mean, I guess, you did play Riley, so you had a leg up on us.
You would know.
I haven't thought about Riley in a long time. like I said.
So we've talked a lot about like Riley as good boyfriend, Riley as nice character, but Riley takes a turn before he leaves. That's pretty dark. And so I wonder if you remember any of that arc and how you felt about it.
I do, yeah. One, again, you tip your hat to people who come up with stories that are full and three-dimensional and travel, and you don't stay the same the whole time. Every actor wants that. Like, what's the travel that you do? And so it only makes sense that the poster child goes into that kind of dark place. And that my memory of it was that was the first time I wasn't playing Marc Blucas in camera, and so that was a really cool thing for me to act. I was doing like scene study classes where I was trying to create characters, which I didn't know how to do yet, and do it. But it was just like, okay, how do I for the first time? Because again, I didn't have that fucking training. Like, how am I going to be someone that's not me, that Marc Blucas wouldn't do? Like, I wouldn't make those choices. And so it's all, look, it's all relative, but it's just, I do remember doing one of those scenes and like a handful of the crew, kind of clapping and helping me like at the end of it and tipping their hat to me. And I think they saw too. It's like, look, here's a kid who's trying his ass off and he's okay. And he's working really hard. And this was something different from him. And he got through it. And whether it was good or bad, it didn't matter. It's like, again, it was just one of those moments in life where you get the right amount of encouragement at the right time to kind of do it. And so my memory is a personal one because of what it kind of made me stretch and do in the moment, as well as at that point in the show, I had a handful of friendships around that were supportive and encouraging. And so it was just that arc in time period for me was memorable for those reasons.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You can.
I would just think it would be like really fun, and maybe, as you say, like this isn't like part of the way it's like logged in your brain, but I would think it would be really fun to like pivot from it like being the sort of like solid, reliable, good, supportive, whatever, to get to sort of like twist your mustache a little bit.
Totally. Like, look, even to this day, to be cast against type, it's like, what? I'm an ex-con full of tattoos who smokes with a shaved head. I'm like, I was checking the mail like 7 times a day in that movie. Like, I was like, this is awesome. So yeah, it's like, it is fun to do, though. Every actor wants those moments to be cast against type or have those, or relishes that part of the story when it kind of gets there.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of do those things and be different,
Is there a character, and this actually is a listener question, Holly, our listener, wrote in to ask if there was another Buffyverse character that you would want to play?
I think the answer for so many people is probably Spike, because James was so good. I mean, it was a well-written role, but he was such a phenomenal actor and so good in it, and was able to bring edge and humor and depth and so much I loved working with him. He was he was so. And so most people probably say that for a lot of the reasons we just talked about. Like,
Right.
It is like different and crazy and it's fucking
Yeah.
400 years old or whatever it is. And he gets to do you get to do the ridiculous every day.
Right.
And so that would be it. But that said, I didn't then, nor do I now, have the capability to play Spike. And so, like it's but a pipe dream.
So you got to work with nearly every core actor on that set that was there. So do you have any fun, behind the scenes stories? I mean, you said Tony Head, you worked with James.
And I ran into Tony. I did my first con 2 years ago. And let's just talk about that for a second.
Yeah,
like how
please.
ridiculous. Like in the days we were shooting that show, if you were doing cons, you're like, career's in the toilet, huh? And now it's like people, hey, you do cons, right? Like you're going, right? Like it's a part of like it's a part of what's
huge.
required of what we do almost, And so I ran into Tony, like the first one that I had ever done, and we had a ball, just kind of reminiscing. And he's such a good man and a good actor. And again, another one of those mentorish type persons for me on that show. Again, the actors were great and super patient, and I didn't know Hollywood hierarchy, and I didn't know any of that shit. Like they yelled cut, and everybody went back to their trailers, and I hung out with the crew, like. And so I still have a lot of friends. I'm in touch with the crew. I mean, I see the actors and we're great. I ran into Sarah last year on the street, accidentally.
Oh my gosh.
Literally on the street.
Wow, was anyone else around? Because that would be an incredible thing to
it was
witness.
pretty funny. We sat and get caught up for 15 minutes or so. Because I did a movie with Freddie like that following year or whatever.
Wow. So funny.
And so so it was fun to kind of catch up. When we see each other when it kind of happens,
Yeah.
What was the con that you went to? Was it a Buffy specific con?
No, it wasn't. I've done London, Paris, and Wales are the three that I've done, and all in the past like 4 years, since like the 20th or whatever that was.
Have you enjoyed that experience? Like, since
I have, and again, like I love the Q&As. Like it's like this forum that like that's fun because I get to meet other people and kind of share that. And it's like walk down memory lane, and I'll tell people in advance, like, look, I'm probably not going to know 80% of the things you're saying. You're going to quote me, and I'm going to be like, oh, that's funny. And they're like, you said that in episode 17. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm not gonna remember it all, but like it's just fun to get to know people. And so Barto, I have two great stories, and if you want them, I'll give them to you. But like one was like one of the great things is because so much time has gone by now is that, if someone would have let their like 9-year-old or 10-year-old watch it back when it aired, you'd be like, maybe not the best content. But this day and age, it's like watching a Palmolive commercial. But it's really cool to see like so much of that crowd. It'd be like mom saying, hey, I was a huge fan. I've introduced them. We're rewatching it again with my daughter now. And that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of really cool. And then in one of the ones in England, which is where I played my pro basketball, I'm there and this girl comes up to me. I mean, again, there's a line and you like I try to give each person their time. I'm not a like sign and go, like click, leave. Like, this doesn't feel right. And so you try to give them, and then she's talking and she's like, I can tell she's trying to keep it together. And from an actor's point of view, you don't know if you're keeping it together because they're giddy and they're giant, like it's the other one Pro Riley person in the world, or it's something else. Like you just don't know. And she's like, and you know how they sell these packages, like, it's like, hey, you have the glossy picture package and the, like different things. And so, hey, she's like, my best friend was a giant fan of yours. Like we got these tickets 3 months ago and they said you were coming. I know it's your first con and all these things. She got in a car accident and died. We had these tickets, and I'm like already like,
oh my God,
like I'm floored by this. Right. And she says, I got her these tickets for her birthday and she's not here, but we got this package. Like when you see somebody that like you want to give the picture and stuff too, you just decide, but here's the tickets and the money, here's the ticket for it.
Oh God.
I'm like, well, no one's going to fucking deserve that.
Yeah.
Like no one's getting that picture. Like, what are you talking about? Like that's a lot to do. And I'm talking, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And thank you. And I'm talking to this girl and like not 10 minutes later, this girl comes up to me and says, so, and I mean, she had to be 30. But I mean, so she was she's fucking 7 when Buffy started.
Sure.
She said, you're not going to remember this, but when you lived here playing basketball, my dad worked at the arena you guys played basketball in, and you had signed a gum wrapper for his daughter, which was me. She pulls it out.
Oh my God.
She shows me my fucking signature and and I write it to her name and I'm like, hey, remember to chase all your dreams. It's what I would always write. Remember to chase all your dreams and my signature. I'm like, keep your money. This lady just gave me this thing. Whoa. And it's just like, it was amazing. Like I had to retell it and I'm like, oh, that to me is what makes the con. And there was, I think, 2 of them, I had like an open mic with everybody. In the Q&As, like we did one as a group and then one where they just let me talk. I had stolen one of the shirts Riley wore in the initiative. It was like the green sweatshirt and I just always liked it. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking take this thing. And so I wore it for the speech.
Oh my God.
20 years later, I still have this thing.
Holy shit.
And so I'm like, I'm really surprised no one's not recognized the shirt because it was the shirt in my picture, the headshot, the Riley picture that I was like doing.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, little stuff like that. And just as you probably know now after talking with me for an hour, like just kind of fucking with the fan and getting to know them a little bit and playing and joking around with them is kind of the best parts of those.
Wow. Well, one of our questions was about if you took anything from the set. So I guess.
Yeah, that is. If you would ask me that question, I'm like, no, I don't have anything. But
you have that sweater.
Like,
That's a pretty classic sweater. Jenny dressed up as Riley last Halloween with that sweater. I mean, not the original.
We do show costumes every year.
Awesome.
We do, yeah.
For the kids.
That got an eyebrow raise for the listeners. You did dress up like what? Right. You wear really high lifts. You put a giant pad in the back of your ass. And
I did like 1 million push-ups.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that's a question from a listener.
Oh yes. You don't have to tell us, but Sophie wanted us to ask you how many push-ups you can do.
Sophie the stunt double? Because I can do 1 million. Listen, let's get really fucking clear right now. I can do a lot. It's definitely in the 4 figures. The honest answer is with a lifetime of sports, my shoulder's a little messed up. And so, the idea of sitting down and doing push-ups and getting a count, I'm not quite sure.
We won't
it wouldn't be many. But they asked me this question before we started recording, and I did 742. Yeah.
Another really fun listener-submitted questions are about your chickens.
Who knows how this person got all this intel about your chickens?
Do you have
some chickens?
I do have chickens.
You have 13 chickens?
At us, and they said, can you please ask Mark?
That's an Instagram thing, I guess. Because I do have pictures of the chickens.
Aha. We didn't know about your chickens, but Madeline does. Madeline wanted to know if you have names for your 13 chickens.
Well, we do, and that was probably a flock ago.
Okay.
Because I'm not on Facebook or Twitter. Like I don't do it, and but I do have Instagram, and I think that you put some sentence describing yourself at the top. And,
is that your?
And I think I wrote that I had chickens, but this was about 7 years ago, so I think some of those have since passed. But yes, we are not. There's no slaughtering going on in our fake farm. We have names for all of our animals, and it's literally about the fresh eggs, and everybody has a name, and we kind of cycle. I think because it's my wife and kids that kind of come up with this.
I want to hear some of the names of the farm animals.
We've had Henrietta. We've had. Yes, we have some funny ones, and we have one was like Sneaky, and I wanted to call it Kaiser Sose. It was the one chicken I named. And so Lola met a bad fate with a raccoon.
Damn those raccoons!
Right.
Such a menace.
Respect.
I know.
One thing that we didn't mention was, and again, this might fall outside of your memory capsule, but there's one particular episode, when you came onto the show, David had already gone on to the spinoff Angel series, but there's an episode where he comes back to town and you guys kind of have this really fantastic sort of testosterone fueled pissing contest where you're both, neither one of you is your best selves, and it's really fun to kind of watch that interplay. Do you remember anything about that episode or shooting that stuff?
I do remember a couple of things, and David was great. I mean, it was the only time I really even met him and talked to him, and did that. And that was fun. It was a couple of things stand out. I remember reading it. And again, Riley had been through a handful of things, I guess, at this point. We've done all this. And I just remember going to the writers. I'm like, am I ever going to win a fight? They're like, nope, not yet. I'm like, okay. All right. And I remember like not slouching. I do remember like, oh my God, I can look at him in the eye. Like, I can stand up straight. This helps this chest puffing out male moment of my penis is larger than yours. And then, it's kind of like the movie Titanic. You go into that knowing the end. The boat's sinking. Right. Like, you know the end. And so how do you make it entertaining throughout? Like, I know I'm not winning this fight. Right. And how do you get little victories within? You get a few shots in and make it feel like it's a tie as best we can.
Yeah.
But no, I think David enjoyed probably the physical component of that show at that time too. And we both were able to, do as much as we could kind of with it and have fun of the silliness of me pulling gadgets, and he'd be like, I'm bigger, faster, stronger. Yeah. This is my life as an athlete. This is like PTSD. I'm like, why am I always this little slow? So yeah, but that was, but again, a fun, well-crafted storytelling and a fun moment to kind of go and play with.
Yeah, there's an incredible still from that episode of Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar sort of like standing in between both of you. And it's like these two towering guys. Yeah.
And yet the smallest is the strongest.
Yeah. I mean, the feminism and, patriarchy smashing that happens in Buffy has been like a huge thing for us as we've talked through the series. And so I wonder, like, have you gotten to work on sets where these things are at the core more as time has moved forward? Because that show, I mean, it was in the 90s and it definitely was, it shouldn't have been ahead of its time, but it was a bit ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
No, of course it was. Yeah. You think for a second I'm not a feminist. I am. And it's just like no one's more proud and behind this kind of way late evolution in storytelling of flipping things, on their head a little bit and looking at it from a different point of view and doing, and you look from every group that has been, for lack of better terms, neglected and or just not been given the opportunity to be in front of the mics. To me, that's the best thing of all of the streaming and the platforms that are available, because it was getting to a point where it's just like they were putting stories and crafting stories around trying to please everyone. It's like, here's our Latino actor, here's our African-American actor, here's our white actor, here's our female. And slowly it was like, here's a gay character, and here's like, and they try to put them all in one story. And to me, because they're trying to reach a certain number on a scale that makes it a success or whatever. And now it's just changed so much where you can be highly specialized, and this is for this audience, and we can tell their stories and their voices and hope that starts to, it's like we were talking about before with this grassroots feeling of change and letting it be a part of mainstream, that it's not a double take anymore when you see two guys holding hands. It's not that just kind of slips into the mainstream, and it's amazing because we're seeing female coaches in pro sports, in male dominated sports, and it's just just like we're seeing pro athletes say they struggle with depression and anxiety, and it's just a part of the conversation now, as it should be. And without getting political, at some point we'll have a leader that is able to embrace, encourage, and help propel that, as opposed to help driving a wedge and making sure there's still a faction that still exists that's against, and make it about friction and not kind of inclusion. And so it's nice because Hollywood does always kind of lead that charge that way. And so it's something I applaud, obviously. Yeah.
So what are you doing now?
Begging, like always. I dip my toe in back when I can. I think every actor is going to sit and say, it's like, we're all trying to, you try to be seen different ways. You try to do different things. Like, look at what Seth Green has done with his writing, and Danny Strong. Holy hell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, what the fuck, Danny?
Yeah.
fuck you, Danny. If you're listening, go fuck yourself. But I'm still taller. And that's the only thing that's bigger. His career, his bank account, everything else is larger. His resume. But no, you always try. So it's like, look, it's nice that I always compare things to a sports analogy. And so it's one of those, the more positions you play in the game, the more minutes you're going to get. And so I think that we're all trying to be versions of storytellers, and as to come full circle, I think that I've finally gotten to a point where I found my voice, and I have confidences that way, and contributions and a collaboration, and what I'm truly paid to do, and bring a take of scene, character, and story to a thing. I just finished a little movie in Georgia that I got back from. That was with a terrific cast and a really nice storytelling about a lot of the themes that we're talking about right now. And again, something you're proud to be a part of, and you hope that it finds an audience and a platform to say it. And then I was doing a Apple show that got shut down because someone got hurt. Which was fun for me because not that they got hurt. Yeah. It was fun. Backwards. Rewind the tape. It was a show that a NBA basketball player named Kevin Durant started about his experience in AAU basketball, which is like the youth, highly like corrupt and awful world of recruiting young kids and shepherding them through to the NBA, basically.
Wow.
And there's such a microscope on the AAU, the organization that kind of runs this, and it's good and it's bad. It's creating opportunities, but there's a lot of shady characters involved. And so it was fun to dip my toe back into the basketball world and start doing that show. But one of the lead actors got injured, and so they've shut it down. They're just trying to wait and see and make decisions. Are they going to recast him, wait for him to get better, introduce a new character? So they're kind of figuring some things out, I think. And so that stopped. But I was out here having some meetings for some other things, and so we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, that's a long-winded answer to say that I'm just begging.
Do you still play basketball?
I jokingly say that I only do it for money now. Because again, when writers find out about it, they're like, "Hey, can we write a scene?" Yeah. And then they're like dunking. I'm almost 50. Like, you want me to dunk? I'm a 6'2" white kid, and you want me to go up there and try to dunk it? Like there was a time,
right?
But and so now it's like, again, like playing pickup basketball, my body's deteriorated a little bit, but at the same time, you don't know who you're playing with. Then I get a job and I show up with 8 stitches because, it's like, it's funny because you laugh. It's like, oh, your reputation is so nice. Like, I'm a competitive bastard when it comes to that shit. And so it's like, I'm mature enough to turn it off until the last 4 minutes when it's a close game. Then I'm going to go for it. Then I'm going to be on crutches and have 7 stitches. Be like, I'm ready for work. And they're like, what the hell? What happened to you?
Yeah.
And so I kind of really only play, and I miss it. I miss the camaraderie and the competitiveness. And I do kind of miss that time.
Do your daughters play? Do any of your daughters
play? I'm coaching them.
Nice.
Yeah. And they get grounded if they miss shots. I'm just kidding. They're super young. And so it just, it's literally like, I think, it's kind of cringeworthy because they're so young that like the score is a soccer score. the basketball score, it's like 4-2. You're like, oh my God, somebody do something. Kind of like watching my acting on Buffy for the first year. But yeah, so I'm a firm believer in the value of team sports. You learn to win, you learn to lose, you learn that you're a part of something bigger than yourself. I think that it offers an awful lot of things, and it's one of the few things that we can kind of equate. Like, hey, work hard, practice free throws, then you start making them. Wow, look at cause and effect. You work hard at something, you get better at it. And so much of this generation is kind of like, hey, I want to play guitar on Friday, and if you're not Taylor Swift by Monday, you quit.
Yeah.
And it's that reset generation, that mentality is like, oh, I died, reset. Oh, I died, reset. And it's just like, there's no grit and staying power. And so I think that's one of the beautiful things of sports that can kind of help. So hopefully they'll continue. We don't push, we don't force. They don't have to, it's their first year doing it. Like, if they want to do it, they want to do it. They don't, yeah.
That's great.
So we'll see.
We cannot thank you enough.
I can't thank you. It was a fun to walk down memory lane. It wasn't, no one threw shit at me. I just want to say to the audience in here, like, these guys are very kind.
This is a safe space for Riley.
Really?
And the rumors are true. You're so nice. Thanks for being so nice.
I don't know. Well, thank you.
Yeah, we have a few more episodes with you, although we'll probably be airing this right around the time that you fly away in that helicopter and you don't even know. You don't even know she's coming.
We were up there. Joss was in the helicopter with us, and he had a little monitor, and we were up at like Santa Clarita, Valencia, and up in the canyons up there at nighttime. It is cold as hell. And I remember getting that helicopter. I'm like, Joss, he's like, yeah, it's going to be fucking cold. And the doors are open. And I'm like, I can't really feel my face, at all. He's like, yeah, me either. And I do remember kind of shooting that. And he had to, but at the time he was trying to cue me, like when to go, when to like be looking around, but like be able to turn away just at the same time Sarah was trying to make an entrance. We were trying to logistically figure this out with the noise of a helicopter and like sub-zero, what felt like sub-zero temperatures flying around.
That's insane. That's insane. A fun thing to know that Joss is inside of that helicopter.
He was in there. He was in there with me with a monitor doing, I just got to, I had a career run with helicopters here. I did that. I did a movie, We Were Soldiers, where it was like a Vietnam War movie where we were in helicopters the whole time. And then this summer I did Narcos. Which was amazing. And and I gotta say, like, after like this past few years where I've been doing like network television, all the things, like to be in a scene and tell people to go fuck themselves was a lot of fun. For any of the listeners out there that actually sat through this whole 2 hours or whatever long it's been, you notice like I get away from my kids and it's like sailor locker room mouth all over again. It's like shaking up a Coke can. You know what I mean? It's like I get on set, I'm like, hey guys, motherfucker, sorry everyone, I have kids and a wife, and that's just like, it's just got to get out.
We're happy to be that platform for you.
You guys are. I hope it wasn't too offensive.
No. We say fuck a lot on this podcast. Well, welcome here.
Appropriate.
Wow.
No, but thank you guys so much. You guys have been so sweet. Thank you for sharing the story, and to the fans that are listening. It's nice that everybody it's not surprising that has this kind of connection, and it's emotional to the show. And so, the cliche, loved or hated, but never ignored. And that's that. And Riley was a integral part of mostly the hate part of that sentence, but also that's just good storytelling. You're going to have characters that impact people into the good or to the bad. And that's why it stood the test of time,
And conversation starter to this day, and 20 plus years later.
Right.
And that's important. Right. So thank you.
No, thank you guys.
Oh my God.
Wow. Jenny, how you feeling? How you doing?
I'm flying high.
I think that we should actually end this episode with the season 4 recap song that you made, if you're into that idea.
Hell yeah.
Great. Before we get there, we just want to thank you, Marc, again for your time with us. It was really, really wonderful. Not only to get to spend time with you, but to get to like sit in the same room with you, to get to measure your hand against Jenny's and all of that other fun stuff. And thank you, Riley, for the time that you have spent with us in the series, both for good and bad, for debate, for laughter, for taking boots off, for all of the things that you brought us in your time. We thank you. And wow, we've done it.
Riley did a lot of push-ups in season 4, and I hope in season 5 he does some more. Just because you hate him doesn't mean Buffy shouldn't date him. Riley did a lot of push-ups in season 4. I bet you Riley's gonna wear some sweaters in season 5. His turtlenecks have been keeping me alive. Some folks say that he's a bore. I just say that means there's more for me when Riley wears some sweaters in season 5. Give me those washboard abs, give me that nice wide smile. I'll take that farm boy charm, that goes a country mile. I can't get enough of emotional availability. That's why I'm into Riley. Riley, you're a very good boyfriend, but the haters think you're the wonder bread of men. Y'all, just cause he's not your type doesn't mean that he should die. Jeez, Riley, you're a very good boyfriend. Give me those washboard abs, give me that nice wide smile. I'll take that farm boy charm, that goes a country mile. I can't get enough of your healthy sense of responsibility. That's why I'm into Riley. I mean, what kind of monster wouldn't love a human golden retriever? smile. I'll take that farm boy charm that goes a country mile. And I just really love how you don't outage me by 2 centuries. That's why I'm into Riley.
Riley, you can hold the door for me and also hold space for my emotional processing journey anytime.
From the parents behind Law & Order comes a mystery the whole family can enjoy. Patrick Picklebottom Everyday Mysteries. Step into the whimsical world of Patrick Picklebottom, a precocious 11-year-old with a love for reading and an uncanny ability to solve mysteries. Inspired by the beloved children's book of the same name, this podcast vividly brings Patrick's tales of deduction and everyday adventures to life as he unravels baffling enigmas and solves clever cases. Patrick Picklebottom Everyday Mysteries is perfect for kids and is just as entertaining for grown-ups who love a good mystery. The whole family can listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
The war is over, and both sides lost. Kingdoms were reduced to cinders, and armies scattered like bones in the dust. Now the survivors claw to what's left of a broken world, praying the darkness chooses someone else tonight. But in the Shadow Dark, the darkness always wins. This is old school adventuring at its most cruel. Your torch ticks down in real time, and when that flame dies, something else rises to finish the job. This is a brutal rules-light nightmare with a story that emerges organically based on the decisions that the characters make. This is what it felt like to play RPGs in the 80s, and man, it is so good to be back. Join the Glass Cannon podcast as we plunge into the Shadow Dark every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/theglasscannon, with the podcast version dropping the next day. See what everybody's talking about and join us in the dark.